Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Ankit Tech Classes. I am Ankit. So in this React practical scenarios series, we will discuss how we can create multilingual application in React.Js using TypeScript. So basically in the project development, multiple times client requirement that our website should be multilingual support. It means website content that should be not be a language specific. It means specifically multiple websites which is totally on the single language, that was the English. But in the current scenario, actually client demand that this website can be used in multiple countries, so that the application contains or text, actually the text means static content that will not change dynamically most of the time, right? So we define that the static content will be in display in the language of that particular country in which that particular browser will be open. Okay, so suppose one user is from the US. So in US the language is, national language is English, so it should be display the static content in the English language. Okay, if the particular user was from the Spain, from Spain, so in Spain it should be available in the Spanish language, right? So basically there are different languages, right, and different based on their specific countries, right? So in all over world we are different countries, and different countries speak multiple languages, right? And multiple countries don't know the specifically in the English that as a fluency language or as a first language, right? So their demand that particular website should be in a country specific language, right? So that's behind the concept that we need to create the multilingual, means multi-language support application we need to develop. So here what we will do, we will define a static content in multi-language support based on that particular country, or you can say that whatever the one scenario is that we can test it by changing the language from the browser setting, right? Or otherwise whenever the country will be changed, the keyboard and particular language will be changed. So according to that, because every country and language specific country culture code happens, so based on that particular country culture code we can develop our application. We can retrieve the particular runtime, what is the particular language of that particular country, because country hyphen culture code we have defined. Suppose fr-fr, right? So French hyphen fr or fr-ca means fr-hyphen Kannada. So basically there are multiple there are country and culture code are different, and some here the it can be same like FRFR or FRCA. So FRFR country language are same, and here FR-CA the country hyphen language code are different, right? So that is the concept. We can define our application that will be a multi-language, and it will be localized to that particular country, right? So in this demo we will see how we can develop our application to be localized to a specific country, so that the static content would be served in that particular country language, not in a specific language like English. right? So for the solution we will use the third party library or framework. With the use of that one we can implement the translation in React.Js. So we have the one famous framework or library, you can say I18 Next. So with the help of I18 Next, actually if internationalization framework, you can see here. So uh, where we can define a particular translation, implemented translation, or internalize our application in specific language, because it does not support any specific language because it is written in the JavaScript. So I18 is support in the React.Js, Next.js, Vue.js, and jQuery as well, right? So for the React version we have to use the React I18 Next, which is the specific version of the React. Actually I18 Next develop a package, sub package inside the I18 Next, which is React-I18 Next, which is used to translate using I Next in React.js, right? So if you want to use in I18 Next in Vue.js, so you have to use I18 Next hyphen Vue, right? So that is the actually phenomena behind the I18 Next, right? So there are so many other, but that is the most popular, you can say, in one of them in the popular libraries, right? So I have created one sample project using the white, and that is project is up and running using the command npx space create hyphen white at the rate latest, and then application name multi-language app, right? So here I am using the typescript as a language, not JavaScript language. Okay, so here in the app, so for first of all, if we are using the third party library or framework, so we have to install it first, right? So first we will do it npm I18 next, and then another I18 next hyphen browser hyphen language detector. So this package is responsible for automatically detect the current language. And then I18 next hyphen stdp hyphen backend. So for this using this I18 next, we have to need a help from backend also. So that's why we install this react hyphen I18 next. This is for a specific React version of I18 next, right? Do enter. Internet has been gone. Okay, now it is connected. So now it will install these dependencies package. Okay, 1 minute. Language detector spelling has been mistake. Okay, now you can see that it is dependencies are installed. So in the package.json all the dependency has been installed. Okay, so first of all, using that is in this actually define the IAT, we have to configure the translation files for specific language, where we have to define a particular static text key oblique value pair format we have to translate there. So here we will create a file locales, directory locales. And under this we will create a subdirectory, suppose en. Under en we will create a one file translation .json file, in which we will keep our text with their translation, so in the form of key oblique where value pair format. So here I am defining one text for welcome. So in your project whatever text you want to translate, you can define them. So here it is the English language, so we can define directly over there. So you can add it with the comma multiple text here. So now under the locales we will add one more language called FR for French. Okay, we will again add the translation .json. Here again we will define welcome, and then we will translate to basically in the project actually the specific client will give this information to the particular text in a specific language, right? Okay, so we will translate here. So again here we will do again Spanish language. Here again we will create a one file translation.json. Again we will define here key welcome and value there. Okay, so here we can translate English to French. Welcome. In FR. Okay, so that is a key and that is a value. Now we have to configure the I18 in our project. So we have to create one configuration file, that is I18n. I will be give this name. And if you want to use JavaScript, so you can give the extension .js. If you want to use TypeScript, so we are using the TypeScript, so we will give the TS extension here, TypeScript file. So we have to import some of the packages to configure the. So first of all, we will import the I18 from I18 next. Okay, then for backend support, we need to import backend from I18 next browser language detector. Oh, sorry, backend, not language detector. We have to do HTTP backend. We have to use it, and then we have to import the language detector. From I18 next language detector, right? Then I have to import one package from React I18, that is init React I18 next from React I18, right? Okay, and we have to import this local package also for the specific language, the translation, so that we can retrieve the key respective values, right? Suppose we will import en translation from locals /en /translation.js. Import es translation from locals -es -translation.js. Import then fr translation from local/fr /translation.js. Now we will define to use it. So we have to use method. We have to define the backend, which backend we are using. So we will give enter, and we will not write the I18 multiple times. We will use dot and then click use. We will use the language detector object, and then again use. We will use this method init React I18, means this package is initially, the application will be loaded, then it will be fired automatically, and then dot we will define the init method. So it will call wherever the application has been loaded, fallback lng :en English fallback language will be used, debug :true, we can debug it, and then we have to define the resources from where in the resources attribute we have to define from where it will take the translation values on the behalf of their key or text. So here we have to define the particular country culture code, country-culture code, or some of the top level countries where we can directly use the country code or language code simply in single. we will use translation en translation, and then we will use es translation colon es translation, and then we have defined one more fr. So you can create multiple type of JSON file for a specific language. So you can create these type of, or as you wish. This is your configuration. What you can define the path for defining your translation key value pair translation files. So you can define it in your way. Translation colon fr translation. Okay, so here will be using the en. So sometimes if application detect or I18 detect the language country code is en-us, so it will not take the en if it detect language detector it detects that the language and culture code is en-us. So it will not take automatically. You can configure for the each and every country hyphen culture code. Okay, so after that one we have to export it. Export default I18N, so that we can use in entire application, right? So that is the configuration file, main basic file. Now the second step means, first step is we have to install the dependency. Second one is the create the particular locals translation file. Third step is I18 configuration file, and then after creating this we have to apply it all over the application. So main.tsx or index.tsx, if you are using the create react app command, so you can define here, or in the next.js you can define page.tsx or page.jsx, whatever your configuration that is, so you can define in that one. Okay, so here the entire particular React application that need to follow the rules of I18 translation, we need to wrap up inside the I18 provider. So first of all, here we have to import I18 provider, I18 and provider for I18 next. Okay, then we have to import our this configuration file I18 and, so from import I18 and from I18. So this is the under this, so I18 and .ts file. Then we have to import entire file globally. So I am using it two way. You can use the one import itself. Okay, so here now we will use I18 and provider. Inside that one we will consume the app. Okay, now here we have to define its type. I18 and will be used from their I18 file. So here in their I18 attribute, we have to define our configuration file, our configuration. So that I18n is our I18 file. This one here we have defined all the things, how it will which backend it will be used, which language detector object will be used to detect the current language, which method is defined to directly call it at the time of loading the application, and what are the different resources or specific country language code to translate it, right? So everything is here. So in the and default default namespace, that is translation. So we have to give the same name here whatever we have given in the resources under this translation. So whatever we will give here, right, key or values will be this one, en translation, this file. So this key, whatever you give in the key name here, you have to give that key name here as a value of default arrays. That is default namespace. Okay, so here you have to apply. Right now we will translate our text, the final thing. So we can remove everything. So here we will import use translation from React IAT next, right? So before using it, we have to configure its T method from use translation inbuilt hook of React IAT. And so here which particular text you want to, suppose we have defined here T bracket and then key name is welcome. So here you can see that use translation hook that is defined here in this actually T defined as a function, right? T function. So we cannot change its name, we have to use as it is, right? So that here you have to give the key. What is the key? That is the key. So every text you have to define here, right? So we are giving the T. So app basically inside the IAT next provider, in which actually we are saying to the IAT next provider that this I18n is the configuration file to translate any particular text, in which it will use the default namespace is translation. So here it will go and here it will check the I18n file, and it will first of all it actually load the particular backend to detect the particular language and call that particular init method, in which it actually check the with the help of language detector. First it will check which language is there is set. According to the language, that particular section will be true, and then the default NSS keyword is translation. So here in this translation it will go inside that particular specific file, in specific file, and here we are retrieving that we have to translate the welcome key value. We need the welcome value in a specific language, suppose in FR. So it will go in the FR translation, from here FR translation, and then here it will retrieve the welcome value and it will return to the app.tsx, and it will be print inside the as a h1 tag, right? So first of all, here we have to change the language, right? So from where we can change the language, so we have to change the language. Either we can change the language from the browser settings, or you can see there we can change the keyboard setting, and we can add the language and set as a default language, right? So here we can give the option in our application to select to translate particular text in English, Spanish or French. We are using the three. You can add multiple. So here I am adding a drop down. Okay, value equal to en, here defining English, value equal to es, Spanish, value equal to fr, French. Okay, now on change we have to detect the language whatever we options selected. So we have to pass the event arguments here. So in the I18N we have a method change language. So whenever you write and press enter, actually imported it from our file I18N. Here actually we have configured, so we will call the change language, and whatever we select e dot target dot value. Okay, so whatever the value is there, whatever we select, it will retrieve this value from here, and from based on that it will translate. So now we can check, we will test our application. So here you can see that what drop down is there, and by default welcome is actually displaying in the English language. So we will change to Spanish, so it should be changed into Spanish. If we click on the French, then it will change to Spanish. To Spanish we will check. So here we will check actually it is correct or not. So in the Spanish language translation, so it is printing the correct language. Okay, then we are clicking on the French. Okay, so here in the French it is retrieving the correct language, right? So again we will click on the English, so it is displaying in the English. So that is the use of I18 library. Okay, if you refresh the page, suppose we select the Spanish and refresh, you can see here the drop down value is default to the English, the first, but here whatever we selected set the last language, actually it is showing. So you can do one thing, either you can set the last selected language in the drop down here, or in the default language, as a default language on the application load you will set as a English language. So here we can set the default language. So for the default language we will use the same method inside the main.ts at the top, and here I will make it as a en. Okay, So whenever you load your application, now it is showing the welcome, right? Do the Spanish and French and again refresh. So here this drop down already, or now the text also change to the default language, that is English. So that is the use, right? So what we do in first steps, we have to install this i18 next browser language detector, i18 next http backend react i18 package. So that is the package. We have to install it first, then under the locals or whatever configuration you want to do, you can create a translation file. You have to define your text in the key colon value pair format to translate or retrieve the key value on a specific language or in a specific language, right? The other third step is we have to create one i18n file where we will configure i18 for our React application, in which first of all we have imported i18 next means entire framework. Then we have to support for the backend also. So we import the backend package here, and again we have to get the help of the detection of the language. So we have to load that language detector from this package, and again to interact i18 inside the reactor, so we have to do the i18 package of React version, right? In which we have to define is the loader method. So that is defined here in it. Here, so init method actually defined is in here. So we have to use it first. With the help of this, we have defined is init method. In the init method we have defined that the application can be debugged true, we can do it false as well. Fallback language, we have defined it as a English language. In the resources, that is the most important configuration. If you do not do this, the application would not be work. So here, based on the configuration, you can import that a translation file for every language, right? And the resource, in the resources, you have to define in the same format en, and whatever key you want to use, or you can say it is a default namespace, that is a namespace and colon file name, right, where the translation file exists. So that is the one. So in the app.tsx, actually that is the target where we have to apply. So here in welcome key, we need welcome key value in a specific language. So we are using use translation hook inside the defined inside the react -i18 next, right? So we have imported that we are importing using the t method from the use translation hook, and here we have defined that inside the t method we have given the key welcome. Okay, so whenever so default language we have defined it as a English, right? So whenever load, so in the English language it will go here and it will check. Why it will check here? Because in main.tsx we define that i18 next provider, with the help of this we are providing its the i18 configuration, which is defined is here in this file. So we have defined imported here inside, we are putting inside the provider, and default namespace translation with the same name that we are giving here. Okay, so and entire so entire app, so and so what we have to wrap our entire application or entire component inside that particular provider. If you not define it here, so that application will not be translate. Okay, so here I have created one drop down. In drop down we have defined English, Spanish and French, and we have defined en, es and fr respective values. So on the drop down on change, we are calling the change language function, which is inside the IIT Next React project, IIT and particular package which is defined is here. We have imported that one. So here whatever the e.target value, if we select Spanish, so the target value will be es. If we selected English, so the target value will be en. So if we selected French, so target value will be far, right? So that is the way. So whatever we are changing according to its on change fired, and it is retrieving that value, and value actually change IIT change that particular default language, and based on the default language it is retrieving that particular file from that translation files, key files, welcome key, returning the value in the specific language. So that is the full agenda for the today's session to create the multi-language application. So you saw that with the help of IIT we can easily create multilingual application. No doubt we have to define the configuration, but that is not be hard and complex, right? So if you have any problem, you can see this video multiple times with using reverse and forward feature of the YouTube player. So if you have any question, you can comment in comment box. I will try to give your answer. Okay, if you like this video, please subscribe my channel to get the notification of the latest video. And please if you like this video, if you want to learn more like this practical project scenarios with their solution, so please share this video to the friend circle, so that everyone can take this type of free technical video series. Okay, so that's it for this session. We will meet in the next session. So take care.